The number of Chinese tourists visiting Korea is increasing again. One of the reasons is the craze for Korean TV dramas. What is the economic effect of a TV drama? The dollar is falling rapidly and sharply versus the Korean won in particular. How does a sustained strength in the won affect Korea's economy? High-performance batteries advancing in line with the era of electric cars. How far has the technology of the battery, or the heart of electric cars, come? With only a smartphone, we can cultivate crops on a large scale. We visit smart farms, attempting to change with the help of information and communications technology. North Korean workers being dispatched abroad to earn foreign currencies. We will find out the reality of these workers, increasing further since Kim Jong-un came to power.
Hello, I'm Andrew Salmon and welcome to Bizline. Now, the number of Chinese tourists visiting Korea over the recent Labor Day holiday has surged a whopping 65%. What is behind this sudden increase in popularity of Korea as a tourist destination among Chinese? Well, the key factor may well be a smash hit Korean television series which is airing in China. What is it? What's it all about? And why is it so popular? Let's take a look.
The popular drama series My Love from the Star, which aired earlier this year in Korea, caused a sensation around the world, affecting consumer spending and changing the image of Korea favorably. Let's find out about the economic benefits one drama can bring to a country. The Seoul Tower, located at top of the Namsan Mountain in central Seoul, is a popular tourist site for foreigners. Recently, the number of Chinese tourists visiting the place increased substantially, outnumbering visitors from other countries, possibly outnumbering native Koreans as well. Chinese tourists visiting here always seem to do similar things. It is taking a photo with the human-sized model photo of the actor Kim Se-don, who played the main character, Do Min-jun.
跟这边的主角照相啊，就是偶像剧的主角啊，都敏俊啊。
知道就是很多偶像剧里面有这个场景，然后我们就肯定要来照一下啦。
必来之地。
对。
一是想可能亲眼看一看在韩剧里面出现的这些场景，然后再一个可能就是体验一下韩国的美食，然后还有女生喜欢化妆嘛，然后来这边采购一些韩国的化妆品。
A dating scene of the two main characters was shot at this restaurant at the Seoul Tower. Thanks to their appearance, tourists come here to have a meal, contributing greatly to the restaurant's revenue.
외국 손님들이 전년 대비 200% 정도 성장을 했고요. 그 200% 성장한 외국인들 중에 90% 정도가 중국인입니다. 예약하실 때부터 별곳에 나왔던 레스토랑이냐고 물어보시고 빙글빙글 돌아가냐고도 또 질문하시고 여러 가지가 이유가 있겠지만 그 중에 가장 주요한 이유는 별그대 때문인 것 같습니다.
Kim Soo-yeon and Chun Ji-yeon, also known as Gianna Jun, starred in My Love from the Star, a romantic drama between an alien and a top-class actress. It was a huge success in Korea. Clothes and accessories they wore on the drama were all sold out. The main characters, Do Min-jun and Chun Song-hee, created special demands among viewers, awakening the consumption market. The popularity of the drama wasn't limited to within Korea. Chinese viewers clicked to see the drama, My Love from the Star, 3.7 billion times. A video service website operated in China even gave a thank you plaque to Kim Se-don for setting the record for most viewed drama through video on demand.
就是大家都会谈论，就是这个戏剧这样子。
看过，然后我身边的朋友大多数人都看过，经常会一起讨论，然后很喜欢男主角和女主角。
According to the Korea Tourism Organization, some 84,000 Chinese tourists came to Korea during the Chinese Labor Day holiday, which was between April 30th and May 4th. The figure is a 65% increase from a year earlier period, topping the forecast of 34%, which was made before the drama became a big hit. The economic benefits from the drama doesn't end at the rise in income from tourism. Chinese people are even consuming what the main characters ate and wore in the drama, creating a bigger market. In fact, a trench coat that the main actress wore just once in the drama was all sold out. However, Chinese tourists are still inquiring to make a purchase.
这次我来韩国呢，其实也是想为了看一下全智贤在来自星星里边穿的衣服啊，用的化妆品之类的，包啊之类的，就是对是。
사실 저희가 솔직히 많이 놀랄 정도로 문의 전화는 굉장히 쇄도했고요. 지금도 꾸준하게 문의 전화가 오고 있습니다.
Drinking beer with fried or roasted chicken, which is called chimek for short in Korean, was never heard of in China. However, the menu became a big hit with just that one line in the drama. Some even waited 3 hours in line to purchase the Korean-style fried chicken, helping Korean chicken restaurants in China in sales.
드라마가 방영한 다음에 중국 내에 있는 모든 매장의 매출이 약 50% 정도 신장을 했습니다. 한국에 치맥 투어라는 거를 오고 계세요. 그리고 저희 그 외국인이 많이 오는 종로 같은 매장이 있거든요. 거기 같은 경우에는 중국 분들이 오셔갖고 거기서 치맥을 먹고 전전처럼 셀카 찍고 그렇게 가시는 게 지금 하나의 유행이 되고 있습니다.
With just one drama having such a huge effect on consumption, companies and advertisers are jumping in to promote their products through product placement and endorsements.
CF 같은 경우에는 보통 한 100억, 200억, 300억 이렇게 큰 돈을 써야 시청자들이 홍보를 좀 받다라고 인식을 하는데 PPL 같은 경우에는 한 드라마에 3억에서 한 5억 정도만 쓰면 굉장히 임팩트 있게 기억할 수 할 수 있거든요. 그러니까 비용 대비 가장 효과적이라는 거죠. 그래서 요즘 갈수록 기업들이 선호하고 있습니다.
The popularity of Korean popular culture, such as music and dramas, doesn't end with the content themselves. They attract tourists and affect consumption, as well as change the image of Korea. Some effects can't be calculated in terms of money. Thus, companies that are targeting overseas markets are using culture contents as their means of marketing.
기업들 입장에서는 적은 비용을 이용해서 해외 전 세계적으로 홍보할 수 있는 기회가 되기도 하고요. 지금 한국에 있는 기업들 같은 경우에는 드라마를 이용해서 해외 진출에 교두보를 삼는 케이스도 굉장히 많고요. 지자체 같은 경우에는 아예 세트를 지어서 드라마 촬영을 하고 여행사와 연계해서 관광 코스로 개발하는 그런 거가 지금 굉장히 밀접하게 진행되고 있거든요.
With a strong economic growth in China, consumption of goods and cultural contents are also growing strong, which is why Korean firms are eager to enter the market.
중국 관광객들의 입국자 수가 점차 이제 늘어날 거라고 보고 있는데요. 그 이유는 아무래도 최근에도 이슈가 됐지만 한류 드라마가 이제 중국 쪽에서 다시 한번 인기를 끌면서 우리나라에 대한 이미지는 많이 개선이 되고, 그리고 중국인들의 이제 소득 수준이 증가하면서 해외 여행도 많이 지금 나가고 있는 추세이기 때문에 아무래도 우리나라 입국하는 중국인들의 수는 계속 늘지 않을까 이렇게 보고 있습니다.
Movies, dramas, and music, these cultural contents have the power to bring the world together. The success of My Love from the Star has shown a promising direction of utilizing dramas for marketing, another economic growth engine for Korea.
A perennial fear in Korea is rising once again. The spectre of a strong won, which will hammer Korea's exports. And of course, Korea remains an export-centric economy. But is a strong won always a bad thing for all people? These are some of the questions we have for our guest today. He's a professor of economics here at Sookmyung Women's University in Central Seoul. Dr. SHIN Se-don, welcome back to Bizline.
Always a pleasure to be here with you.
Okay, thanks very much. Now, we've seen this very sudden or very fast appreciation of the won. What is behind this at this time? Is this due to international factors or domestic factors, particularly vis-a-vis the dollar?
Current account surplus is phenomenal in the sense that last year current account surplus almost $80 billion, and year before that it's more than $50 billion. So in 2 years span, we had a more than $130 billion current surplus.
Some people would say that's a pretty good problem to have.
Well, depending upon the perspective, but I think we had never had such a big current account surplus. And second thing I think which contribute to the stronger won is a relative stability or strength in our real economy, in the sense that in China the growth rate has been coming down for more than 3 or 4 years. In the Southeast Asian countries, same thing. In United States, kind of stagnating, and also Europe. So if you look around, Korean economy, even though 3 or 4% seems to be relatively low, but compared to other neighboring countries, I think stable economic growth is one factor. Another
and of course
one is
we're expecting to see better growth this year than last year, right?
Right. At least in numbers, yes.
Yeah. So clearly, then, that we're seeing that the won is really catching up on the dollar, but is a strong won purely negative for Korean exporters?
Yeah, if you talk about exports, it's more than pure to say that it's going to be devastating for Korean export industry.
Is that not overstating the case?
Well, that from my personal experience, we had a serious economic crisis coming from the sluggish export growth after very strong one currency.
Historically?
Yeah, historically. That was in 1988, right? In 1988, the won appreciated more than 20% in a 1 year period. And right after that, 1989 and 1990, eventually we had a serious economic crisis leading up to 1992. 1992 was, a really serious economic crisis in modern time. So that was one case. Another one is 1995, just 2 years prior to the IMF
big crisis of 97.
In 1995, the Korean government let the exchange rate appreciate more than 20%, right? So that was 1995 cases. And also you can find in 2007, 2006 and 2007, just before the subprime mortgage crisis, in which the won appreciated more than 20%. So if you look back, there have been a number of cases when Korean won has been pretty strong, and always, it was followed by serious economic crisis. So at the center of that, crisis is the poor performance of the exports. So I should say, the exchange rate has a pretty devastating effect upon exports.
That having been said, we've seen that Japan's exports have not surged even under the weakened yen as part of Shinzo Abe's Abenomics, right?
Well, the key factor is exactly the time. There has been time lag between the movement of exchange rate and the follow of the export performances. If exchange rate goes down, in the case of Japan, usually the first thing that happens is the lowering of export prices in terms of American dollar, because Japanese exports are able to cut their prices when exchange rate of the yen goes up, right? So first stage of the reaction was cutting down the prices. So eventually, even after depreciation of the yen, first thing that happens is decline in export volume, right, and values, and then the effect of the quantity responsive to the cut in the prices emerge way later. Usually it takes more than 2 years.
A 2-year timeline.
So usually in theory, when there's a devaluation, first thing that you expect is quite opposite to everyone's expectation. Then export values goes down first, and then later on export values goes up because of the quantity. So that is usually in textbook cases, right? So it takes usually between 2 and 3 years for the Japan and United States, and slightly less than 2 years for the Korean economy. So
to see the macro effect,
right? So you see, Korean currency has been appreciated, right, for the last year period, right? The first reaction for the Korean exporters are to jack it up, I mean the prices, because they lose a lot of money on the exchange rate level, so they have to compensate that by the raising prices. So first reaction of Korean appreciation is actually export increase. And then later on, you know, the quantity effect goes down. So you got to be very careful in explaining, you know, the movements of export right after the currency value. So if you understand the lag structure, it is not,
there's no
strange
good
at all.
side to it. That, again, all that having been said, you know, back in, I mean, the big crisis, of course, was 97, 98. Then Korea's industrial profile was very different to today in terms of branding and quality of goods. Is it not fair to say now that Korean companies have climbed the value chain and people expect to pay more for Korean goods?
Well, quality has improved a lot, right? Yeah, I agree that for the last, 20 years, the quality of smartphones, quality of automobiles has catched up, to the level of Japan's. But saying that, the quality difference between the competitors, especially Japan and Korea, has diminished, right? But paradoxically, the gap in quality has disappeared significantly for the 15 or 20 years, but now the price incentive or price competitiveness becomes more important between Japanese players in Korea now compared to the 1997. So now,
pricing is the last competitive advantage.
And now, exchange rate is the single most important, depending. So that's why, exchange rate has become even more important for Korean, export performances.
Okay. Now, the currencies of major countries, notably the dollar and the yen, have been weakening over the last year plus. And in Korea, there is a sense among some that these are possibly competitive devaluations. Is this truly the case, or is this just simplistic thinking?
Well, it is true that, many countries, especially Japan and China, and in some sense the United States, have been following low their own currencies, cheaper their money, right? The quantitative easing on the United States, and similarly, in the European area and also Japan. So the key question is, all the countries in the world trying to devalue their currencies. Okay, here Korea is almost the single country where their currency values goes up, right? So I think it is very dangerous for the Korean government to do nothing about that. In other words, we have to at least maintain the currency, relative currency value, especially against the yen, because as I said, 1992, 1995, 1999, all those, the crisis before, what happened is the Korean currency had appreciated very fast, and on top of it, the yen has been depreciating very rapidly. So if you have Korean won appreciation coupled with very significant yen depreciation, it spells 100% for sure economic crisis. That's what happened, in 1989, 1997, 2008, and so always, always there has been significant crisis right after, the yen depreciation. So we got to be careful.
Okay, in that case, and based on past form, do you expect the government to actually intervene? And what effect will that have on Korea's trade partners? Because this kind of behavior is viewed very archly by free traders in the US, for example.
Right. As far as I know, many officials, not just in the Bank of Korea, but in the Ministry of Finance, they realized the importance, exactly what I talked about. Yen depreciation coupled with won appreciation, that spells almost disaster. So I think, most of the people in the government or policy area, they realize, they have to do something. That's I think the general consensus. The
what
difference
do you do
is
within the rules and limitations of global trade practices and regulations.
We call it the smoothing operation.
Yeah.
In other words, we have to avoid very rapid appreciation of the currency in the market. Here, what do you mean by very rapid, appreciation? That depends, upon the policymakers. But I think, it is undoubtedly true that for the last, couple months, Korean currency has been too fast and too strong for such a period of time.
But I mean, some investment banks are suggesting that even now the Korean financial authorities are quietly buying dollars worth billions of dollars to try and slow down this appreciation.
So if you look at the market, if you look at the number for the last week, I think that has been stabilized around the 1020, right? So I think there has been some action by the government to smooth out, right? And the key question is, here the government intention to smooth out, is in what extent, how active their policy intervention will be. And of course, there will be many critical views, when the Korean government intervene in the market.
Sure.
So I think it is a kind of a tug of war, between the government and the media or the market. So I think it is not true that the government should not do nothing at the market. They should do something, right? And the key question is in what degree or extent the government will intervene in the market. That is the key question, I think. So to me, I think the government would not let the exchange rate will fall down below 1020 in a month or something like that. If the rate goes down 1020 or below, right, within a week or month, I think definitely government will do something, right, to smooth out. But
so you're saying 1,021 to the dollar is the red line,
short term, bottom line, because I think there has been many reports, in the market that there has been some kind of intervention in the market. The
just
buying, right.
Just above that red line.
Above 1020, right?
Shin, last question. You're sounding pretty concerned. I mean, again, most people looking at the Korean economy as macro figures now will say this is fairly plain sailing. You're suggesting, are you not, that a strong won, particularly against the dollar, particularly against the yen, and a weak yen, spell potential crisis for the Korean economy? Am I putting this too strongly?
Well, because as I said, my judgment is coming from my past experience. Because always, Korean authority did not have enough money to fully, safeguard our economy from speculators. As I said, 350 billion seems to be pretty much, but amount of actual, money that the government could mobilize is really fairly small, right? And also, Korean economy is pretty open in the sense that more than 100% of our economy, is from the foreign side, the export and import. You put it together, more than 100%, right?
Yep.
So pretty open economy, pretty shallow amount of foreign reserve. So the fundamental, I think, Korean economy is not as safe or as strong as it looks, right? So I see many, kind of loopholes within the system, right? Yeah. So for the analysts, the economists, you got to be really careful. Or even the smallest, defect, the smallest, point, it could make the entire ship to submerge, right? So in that respect, I think, I has always, have a very critical view in order to prevent the kind of potential crisis. So that's why I'm pretty kind of, pessimistic, also critical to that. But to me, exchange is the single most important factor which has been influenced Korean economy so far.
Well, let's hope that your pessimistic view doesn't actually come true. I also hope that the won remains strong while I go on vacation. But anyway, as usual, Shin, thank you very much indeed for being on Bizline.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Your precious car gets scratches and breaks down, but you don't have time to visit various car repair shops and compare their repair estimates one by one. This week's app of the week is CarDoc, the doctor that will rush to the scene for your car. When you run CarDoc, you can see working drawing photos and prices of various repair shops and users' postscripts at a glance. When you have chosen a repair shop, you can complete a request for a quotation. By attaching a photo of the parts that need to be repaired, you can get the repair estimate in just a few minutes. The repair shop will come and pick up the car, so it will be ideal for those who don't have time. Now you can easily pick the car repair shop you want.
As you can see, we're filming today in an absolutely pristine natural environment. And if we, as city dwellers, wish to preserve these kinds of pristine environments, we truly need to implement forms of environmentally sound transport. And one of the most promising forms of environmentally friendly transport around right now is the electric car. And the key component of the electric car, the heart of the vehicle, is its battery. So, how far has electric vehicle battery technology come? And how far does it still need to go to make electric cars truly viable?
The core technology in electric vehicles, which has recently gained popularity in the complete vehicle market, is the battery. And a search to develop a battery that can be charged instantly and run long distances continues. Korean scientists are no exception as they push the limits in battery technology. Automakers from Korea and abroad are rushing to introduce electric vehicles. Along with the rising popularity of electric vehicles, attention is turning to the battery business, which is essential in running the car. Indeed, the global electric car battery market, which is estimated to be $6 billion this year, is forecast to grow substantially to $26.1 billion by the year 2023. Secondary cell makers in Korea are gaining recognition for excellence in their products, helping to take the lead in the global electric car battery market. A research center in Korea. This company produces lithium-ion secondary cells, which are known to be thin and in pouch form for use in electric vehicles. So what is the core technology in the electric car battery?
양극이나 음극, 주요 소재들이 그런 이제 오랫동안 사용을 해도 전혀 열화가 되지 않고 유사한 그 성능을 낼 수 있는 그런 쪽의 소재를 사용하는 것, 그런 설계를 해주는 게 중요하다고 보겠습니다. 고온에서도 어떤 내부 쇼트를 발생하지 않는 그런 분리막을 사용하는 것, 또는 분리막뿐만이 아니라 전해액 부분도 그 고온에서 발화가 되지 않는 그런 전해액을 사용을 하면서 그런 안전성을 개선할 수가 있습니다.
They have developed a battery that is high in power and energy densities, which enables storing of large quantities of electric energy to drive electric vehicles long distances.
동일 최적에서 타사 대비해서 20-30%가 높은 그 에너지 밀도를 갖고 있다라는 거. 그다음에 동일한 그 에너지 밀도를 갖고 있는 거를 비교했을 때에는 그 출력이라고 하는 단기적으로 그 가속이나 그 출발을 할 때 필요한 그런 출력들, 이런 것들이 타사 대비해서 30% 이상 높은 그런 제품을 만들고 있습니다.
Recently, the company was successful in producing electric vehicle batteries that have applied nickel-based high-capacity cathode materials, which are the first of their kind in the industry. Not only that, it has also secured safety in electric vehicles by producing ceramic coating separators.
CCS is ceramic coating separator, which was developed to improve battery safety for electric vehicle. Usually, polymer film is used as separator, but at high temperature over 150 degrees C, it can be melted and it shrinks, so electrical short can occur. Thus, SK coated ceramic material onto base film, and it showed very superior heat resistance, so we could get both high performance and stable safety.
However, the battery is expensive and is yet to last long distances. Moreover, it takes time to charge the battery, therefore it still needs to be improved.
현재 같은 자동차 내에서 동일한 최적을 가지고 그 에너지 밀도를 2배 이상 높이는 쪽으로 개선을 하고 있기 때문에 현재 대비해서 주행거리를 2배 이상 늘릴 수 있는 쪽으로 개발을 진행할 거고요. 성능은 동일하지만 가격은 다운된 그런 소재를 적용한 배터리를 사용을 함으로써 가격을 2분의 1로 떨구어서 생산할 수 있는 그런 체제를 갖출 예정입니다.
Research is being conducted everywhere, even in academia, to develop the best performing battery to run electric vehicles. A university research team has developed a secondary cell that can run more than 160 kilometers in just one full charge, which is further than the current technology.
기존의 전기 자동차는 한 번 충전 후 대략 160km 정도 주행이 가능한데 이는 일반적인 가솔린 자동차가 휘발유를 가득 채우고 주행할 수 있는 거리의 한 5분의 1 정도입니다. 이처럼 주행거리가 부족한 이유는 현재 전기차에 사용되고 있는 리튬이온 2차 전지가 무거운 성분으로 구성된 양극 물질을 사용하기 때문입니다.
The research team has applied a nano-composite catalyst on the lithium-air secondary battery to facilitate formation and decomposition of the lithium oxides.
기존의 리튬이온 2차 전지에 비해 무게는 가벼우면서도 실제 얻을 수 있는 에너지 밀도가 훨씬 높습니다. 하지만 충방전 과정에서 형성되는 물질을 원활하게 분해하지 못해서 많은 횟수의 충전과 방전을 하기 힘든 문제점이 있었는데요. 이번 개발을 통해서 반응 생성물을 좀 더 효율적으로 분해할 수 있는 촉매를 확보하게 되었다고 할 수 있습니다. 이번에 확보한 충방전 특성은 현재까지 보고된 성능 중 가장 높은 수준이며 금속 산화물과 그래핀 소재를 활용했기 때문에 가격 면에서도 경쟁력이 있다고 할 수 있습니다.
The lithium-air secondary battery is 5 times larger in storage than the lithium-ion secondary battery, and electric vehicles will be able to run further. When put into commercial use, the electric vehicle using this battery can run 800 kilometers, which is enough to make a round trip between Seoul and Busan. Much research is being conducted in the field, and recently an electric car battery was developed to be fully charged in just 1 minute. Commercial use of such inventions could help to expand distribution of electric vehicles.
대한민국 내에 배터리 회사가 크게 3개가 있는데 그 회사들이 전 세계 배터리를 대부분 기술 경쟁력을 잡고 있기 때문에 자동차용 배터리의 기술을 충분히 선도를 하고 있습니다. 그렇기 때문에 배터리 산업이 국가기관 산업으로서 충분한 역할을 할 수 있을 것으로 기대하고 있습니다.
Last year, 170,000 electric cars were sold worldwide. Improvements in electric vehicle battery technology is expected to help increase the sales of the eco-friendly car. And Korean research teams will be in the forefront to develop the best technology to contribute in making our planet cleaner.
Information and communications technologies are impacting everything, and that includes sectors as traditional as farming. For example, a farmer can alter the amount of sunlight hitting his crops, or even the spread of fertilizer on those same crops simply by using his smartphone. So, how is ICT changing the game for Korean farmers? Let's take a look.
A dream farm where robots cultivate plants instead of people, and all the environment is controlled. Let's meet the smart farm where you can harvest maximum yields with minimum cost by applying a high-tech management system. In this flower farm in Goyang, Gyeonggi-do Province, most of large-scale greenhouses already have automated facilities. But people have to frequently check indoor conditions such as temperature and humidity. But it is a different story with wireless communications technology. This remote environment control system has been created by installing CCTVs and temperature sensors inside the greenhouse. On top of monitoring crops without visiting the sites, farmers can also remotely control the temperature, humidity, and amount of sunlight in real time by just touching the smartphone. The door in the ceiling slowly opens and shade curtains are shut as the indoor temperature exceeds 30 degrees Celsius.
날씨의 그 갑작스러운 변화, 갑자기 맑았다가 비가 오거나 아니면 겨울철 같은 데는 갑자기 흐려지면 온도가 굉장히 많이 떨어지거든요. 그런 상황에서 대처를 할 수 있는 부분이 외부에서 스마트폰으로 그 농장에서 바로 조작을 해서 상황을 대처를 할 수 있습니다. 농장에 늘 있지 않아도 바깥에서의 그 활동을 좀 더 활동적으로 할 수 있는 부분이 가장 큰 장점이라고 생각합니다.
As information and communications technology is applied to farming, an age of remote farming that can manage facilities without people has begun. The era of remote agriculture is directly linked to efficiency and economics of agriculture. In fact, since the farm adopted a smart management system, its labor cost fell 20%, while its income surged a whopping 52%. As cultivation environment like temperature, humidity, and density of carbon dioxide is controlled, growing duration of plants has shortened and yields have risen. Plant factories can be built by combining such remotely controlled system with information and communications technology to fully control growing conditions. This is Gyeonggi-do Agricultural Research and Extension Services. In the concrete building, the image of cultivation boards piled up in layers like bookshelves looks as if we are in a library. But we are actually in a smart plant factory.
스마트 식물 공장은 ICT 기술을 이용해서 어떠한 환경 속에서도 안전하게 식물을 생산하기 위해서 만든 시스템이라고 할 수 있습니다. 이산화탄소, 온도, 습도, 그다음에 양액의 pH, EC 센서가 있어서 작물에 가장 최적인 어떤 환경 조건을 부여해서 가장 빠르게 또한 가장 품질이 좋게 생산할 수 있도록 자동적으로 제어하고 있습니다.
Instead of the sun, LED ceiling lights continue to flicker to control the amount of sunlight. Down below, there are cultivation boards similar to plant pots piled up vertically. In each cultivation board, plants are growing. But we can't see any soil in the cultivation boards. They cultivate plants only with water soaked through sponges. The water, automatically injected with necessary fertilizers, is supplied to the cultivation boards via motors. The remaining water is collected and circulated to other cultivation boards. This system is expected to gain popularity in deserts or water-scarce regions as it can grow many plants with a small amount of water.
외부로부터 유해한 미생물들이 들어오는 것을 막을 수 있으며 흙을 사용하지 않기 때문에 연작 피해를 방지하기 위해서 우리가 수경 재배를 사용하고 있는 겁니다. 수직 농업은 단위 생산량으로 보았을 때는 일반 농업이 한 10배까지 생산량을 높일 수 있으며 재배 기간을 한 2분의 1까지 단축시킬 수가 있습니다.
The system monitors all of this 24 hours a day and completely controls the growing environment without being affected by outside environments such as typhoons or heat waves. What is this machine constantly moving in between the cultivation board lines? It is a robotic farmer which is in charge of works from sowing seeds to transporting cultivation boards for harvesting. The robotic farmer is reducing labor costs by even doing the precise works that the automation system can handle. We visited a farm already applying such a smart plant factory technology. Surprisingly, the farm is located on the outskirts of downtown. The farm can grow plants regardless of the city's contaminated environment because it can farm in an enclosed space.
계절에 상관이 없습니다. 아주 추운 겨울철이나 아주 더운 여름철에는 노지나 온실에서 채소를 재배하기가 쉽지가 않아요. 근데 저희는 이제 그러한 것들조차도 내부 온도라든지 습도라든지 모든 것들을 다 컨트롤하기 때문에 그게 가장 큰 차이점이라고 할 수 있습니다. 그런 것들로 인해서 연중 생산이 가능하고 계획 생산이 가능하죠. 때문에 가격의 안정 그리고 공급의 안정이 가능합니다.
From cultivating to packaging, all the processes are automated at this plant factory. By growing high-quality crops with minimum resources and labor force, it is drawing attention as a new growth engine amid unusual weather conditions and environmental pollution.
연관 산업들이 50개 이상 됩니다. 간단히 얘기해서 태양광이나 신재생 에너지부터 유통, 가공에 이르기까지 굉장히 많은 산업들이 연관되어 있기 때문에 그것이 우리가 신산업으로서 식물 공장을 만들어서 그 산업이 중심이 돼서 중동이나 아프리카나 남극, 북극 이렇게 수출을 해서 새로운 신산업으로 연결될 때는 그 새로운 일자리 창출, 그다음에 수출 증대 등 경제적 파급 효과가 굉장히 될 거라고 믿고 있습니다.
Smart farming that can produce fresh vegetables any time of the year by overcoming a given natural environment. On top of its effect on stable food production, we also look forward to its role as a new growth industry.
It's rumoured that North Korea has recently dispatched some 200 beautiful young women from the higher social classes to China. Now, it's not clear what they're doing there. They may be working as entertainers, they may be working as bar hostesses, they may be involved in other business, but they're presumed to be foreign currency earning workers. And since Kim Jong-un came to power, the number of North Koreans dispatched overseas to earn foreign currency has been rising. So, who are these workers? What do they do abroad? And how much money are they bringing home?
It is common to see a group of young ladies in colorful hanbok, along with friendly smiles, sing and dance for the diners visiting North Korean state-run restaurants outside of North Korea. They are one of many groups of North Korean men and women shipped to other countries to help raise foreign currency for their cash-strapped country. Export of laborers has been known as one major source of hard currency income for the North Korean regime.
북한이 경제난을 겪은 이후에는 사회주의 계획 경제가 많이 무너져 있었습니다. 그런데 지도자가 그 사회주의 국가를 잘 이끌어 나가기 위해서는 당연히 통치 자금들이 필요하겠죠. 그런데 그 통치 자금을 벌어들이는 외화벌이 수단 가운데 큰 자본이 필요하다든지 사업 수완이 좋아야 된다든지 그런 어떤 특정한 조건 없이도 좀 수월하게 가능한 것이 바로 노동력을 이용한 해외 노동력 수출입니다.
About 46,000 North Koreans were working in nearly 40 different countries as of last year to funnel foreign currency to their country. Some North Korean watchers suspect the number of dispatched workers already amounted to about 65,000 as of 2012, while some others argue nearly 100,000 North Koreans are currently working in China alone. The number of North Korean workers exported to foreign countries has been on a steady rise since Kim Jong-un assumed power in December 2011 when his father Kim Jong-il died. In particular, China's Tourism Administration says the total number of North Koreans visiting China with visas climbed 14.4% to 206,600 in 2013 from a year ago. Among them, more than 90,000 North Koreans visited China to work. The still moribund economy has driven the notorious totalitarian regime to boost the export of laborers. North Korea's trade deficit has widened further since 2005, exceeding $1 billion every year except in 2011.
북한이 외화벌이 수단으로 사용했던 마약이라든지 아니면은 위패를 제조한다든지 밀수를 한다든지 그런 부분들에 대해서 국제사회의 제재가 증가한 것도 노동자를 해외로 파견하는 것이 합법적인 것이기 때문에 노동자를 해외로 파견하는 숫자를 증가시키게 한 주 원인이 되었습니다.
The Hermit Kingdom has sent its people across the globe, encompassing not only China and Russia, but also a number of countries in Africa, Southeast Asia, and the Middle East. Jobs vary, including loggers, seamstresses, miners, artists, and so on. Lim Il, a North Korean defector now living in South Korea, used to work in Kuwait as a construction worker in 1996. But he shudders when he recalls his time working there.
월급 못 받아봤습니다. 나만이 아니고 제가 속해 있던 한 600명의 회사 전체 근로자들이 못 받았고 후에 알기로는 우리를 고용한 회사에서는 꼬박꼬박 월급을 주었다는 거죠. 그거를 회사에다 주지 않고 북한 계좌에다가 스위스에 있는 북한 노동당 계좌에다가 북한에서 그렇게 요구를 했으니까 그쪽에다 보내준 거죠. 그 근로자들은 나와서 그냥 새끼 밥 먹고 일한 것밖에 없습니다.
Lim was not the only one who was not rewarded properly for hard work. Monthly salaries of dispatched workers vary depending on countries and sectors, and North Koreans who used to work in the manufacturing industry say their average salary was about $150 US, while loggers in Russia used to earn as much as $700 US. But at the worst case, a dispatched worker keeps less than 10% of his or her salary, and the rest is remitted to the Office 39, known as Kim Jong-il's, now Kim Jong-un's personal coffer for slush funds in Pyongyang.
크게 필요한 것은 이제 김정은의 개인 사생활, 그 39호실이나 38호실과 같은 이런 개인 궁궐을 채워서 김정은의 개인 생활을 보장하는 게 있고, 또 두 번째는 노동당 직속으로 되어 있는 핵과 미사일 부분을 이제 관장을 하는 것이죠. 그러니까 북한의 이제 군사력이나 이런 그 김씨 왕조를 위한 이런 당자금이 필요하기 때문에 그런 것들을 이제 벌기 위해서 나간다고 봐야죠. 예. 그래서 일반 그 주민들의 민생이나 또 국가 경제를 위해서 사용되는 돈은 사실은 거의 없다고 봐야 됩니다.
Working and living conditions for North Korean laborers in foreign countries are also known to be poor.
참 비참한 게 뭐냐면은 이게 외국에 나와서도 출전망 속에서 일을 하고 그 지역을 벗어 못 납니다. 그 안에서 이제 외국 근로자들하고 이제 하청업 근로자들하고 같이 일을 하는데 참 눈물겹습니다. 이 사람들은 8시간 일하고 손 딱 털고 가요. 자가용 타고 아니면 회사 버스 타고 딱 퇴근해요. 와, 이게 우리 북한 근로자들은 그냥 8시간 뭡니까? 9시간, 10시간, 12시간씩 일합니다.
Nevertheless, North Koreans prefer to work overseas because they can still earn more in foreign countries than at home.
해외 나와서 뭐 노예 생활도 한다고 하지만 그 노예 생활일지라도 북한에서 일하는 것보다 훨씬 낫다는 겁니다. 그래서 누구나 다 이제 해외 나가고 싶어 하지요. 그래서 그 해외 나가는 것도 상당한 경쟁률을 뚫고 나가야 됩니다. 적대 계층이라든지 또 뭐 과거에 잘못이 있다든지 뭐 이런 사람들은 이제 애당초에 이제 대상이 안 되고, 또 이제 최근에 범죄 사실이 있는지 없는지, 또 뭐 어떤 그 당 조직 생활을 잘 했는지 이런 것들을 다 검증을 하고 합격이 돼야 이제 나가는 것인데.
A U.S. news media reports that Pyongyang has lately sent more of its workers to Russia, where wages are higher than in China, in efforts to diversify its source of foreign revenue. The remittance from the sanctioned workers is estimated to have reached between $150 million and $230 million a year. And Kim Jong-un is expected to boost his slush fund by stepping up the number of dispatched workers.
합법적이기도 하기 때문에 더욱더 북한 당국이 선호할 수 있는 방법이라고 할 수 있습니다. 그렇기 때문에 북한의 입장에서는 해외로 노동자를 송출하는 사업에 대하여 최소 현상 유지하거나 혹은 향후에 더욱더 늘려나갈 수 있는 그런 가능성을 갖고 있습니다.
Kim Jong-un's government has been using workers as a means of raising cash for their own needs, rather than enabling the people to live a better life. North Korean workers have the rights to be treated properly both at home and overseas.
And that's all we have time for on Bizline this week. But as I speak, major shipments of international broadcasting equipment, the highest technology, are arriving here in Korea. Why so? Well, next week Bizline will be visiting the 24th International Korean Broadcasting, Audio and Lighting Equipment Show to discover the latest trends in TV tech. So do join us then. But that's it for now. I'm Andrew Salmon. This was Bizline. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.